I was doing Zoom chats with all different people, I said it would be a good idea to get artists together and art enthusiasts together, just to chat, see how everybody's doing during the pandemic, and then if we come up with ideas to do activities together, then that's all well and good. But just to bounce ideas and chat with people, because as an artist, I'm at home alone. Well, I have Tiffany with me, but it's a solitary activity, doing art or writing. So it's good to connect with people now and then.
True,
so you know a little
true.
bit about me. My background was food science, and I started painting 10 years ago. So I'm self-taught for the most part. Just did 1 or 2 little classes back when I started, which was 2009. And after that, I just make it up as I go along. So it's quite a lovely creative process. Anyway, so Ian Grant, tell us a bit about your...
Is everybody on board?
Huh?
Is everybody on board?
Well, we have to get started because I don't know who else will come. Like some people said yes, maybe. So we'll just continue, and if others join, that's fine.
Yeah.
So Ian, tell us a little bit about your photography practice.
Well, I guess the only person that doesn't know my photography is Joe. But no, I do a lot of sceneries, and okay, let me start back up. I'm Grenadian by birth. I live in Toronto now. And I started photography about 30 years ago. And I got out of it because I was just spending a lot of money and doing a lot of shows and not really getting, much financial support out of it. So I got out of it, and then about 5-6 years ago, I got the urge to get back into it, and I must say it's been very rewarding so far. I've sold quite a number of pieces of my work, and people are liking my work right now. As a matter of fact, right now my art, I have 25 pieces on display at the Grenada Consulate in Toronto, but the show had to be closed because of the virus.
Right, yes.
Yeah, so whenever they do reopen, most likely I will run the show again for maybe another month or so, because a lot of people didn't get a chance to see it.
Right.
So basically that's my history.
Okay, thank you. And Charmaine?
Yeah, so I'm like you, Ian, in that I think I'm just meeting Jill for the first time.
Yes.
Me too. I do a lot of things in art. Primarily, I like to draw and paint and do sculpture. And the sculpture, I work with mostly metals. I work really big when I'm doing sculpture. And also, I guess some of my drawings and paintings are quite large, so scale is important to me because I'm always talking about space, how people move through space, how we take up space, particularly how Black people, when they enter a room, what their bodies tell people, what's speaking, and the space how the space changes. A lot of my work is around that.
Do you also teach, Charmaine?
I do. Do. I'm an arts educator, and yeah, I mean, I would say I show a fair amount, but because my pieces are quite large, I don't sell a lot of work.
Okay.
I mostly survive, I guess, in doing shows and also in teaching arts education. So I'm very fortunate in that I could teach, I'm full with arts education.
Okay. At what level?
So I teach from kindergarten to the teachers.
Okay.
Oh,
I would
interesting.
take,
That's very interesting.
Yes,
yeah, I
yes,
would
because
kind
I
of
didn't
make,
know about this.
yeah, I make the curriculum, I guess, um, come alive in a different way through my own artistic practice. So if they're teaching about, um, I don't know, even math, I'm not that good at math, but I in some areas, I might bring in some different ways of visualizing it or looking at it. Or if you're learning about, I teach a lot about bees because I work with scientists, create these giant wire sculpture bees. So I would
Mhm.
do a lot on the environment. I'm always busy with that. And then we'd create, I make giant bees, but I found a way to, so that they could also make a bee, but in a, you know, a simplified version.
Yeah.
So yeah, that keeps me very busy. And I would say that, you know, that helps with surviving as an artist, really.
Mhm.
Oh,
And Jill, would you like to tell?
well, I am not an artist. I'm an art enthusiast. I am actually a PR marketing practitioner. Um, I know Jennylynd since our high school days. We
Yes.
were in school together in Trinidad. Um, I do, however, like photography. I do take, um, you know, as I was saying to Ian a little bit earlier, that I mean, I am the main photographer for the family. So I am always snapping pictures at the family events, the weddings, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I always liked art. I grew up in a family where the
You have a
appreciation
huge
of,
collection. That's what
yes,
her father collected.
Jennylynd has seen some of the collections. So
Yes,
I grew
yes.
up in a family where
Famous
art
artist.
across the board, whether it is music, theater, you know, the visuals have always been something that was part of my upbringing. So Jennylynd would tell you, any art exhibition, I am most probably
She's there.
number one to walk through the door.
Yes. So every time I visit Trinidad, before I even go, I call Jill and I said, these would be the dates that I'm there. Please tell me which art shows are coming up. And she always knows. So then we get together and we go to all the art shows.
Great. So if I go there, I know who to call now.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, Jill knows.
Well, actually, the funny thing about that is my father, 2 years ago, my father had a cousin who passed away. And the cousin who passed away's sister, of course, came down just before her brother had passed away. And she meant to stay for about 2 months to tie up all the loose ends. And then a year and a bit later, she was still in Trinidad because little cousin Jill was taking her to every event possible, whether it was steel band concert, whether it was an art exhibition, you know, anything, you know, anything that was available where it had to do with culture. Jill was there, so you know, cousin had to come along too. So she keeps telling all her friends the reason why she stayed in Trinidad more than a year was because her little cousin
More than a year.
kept her from leaving. Yeah, she stayed about a year and 2 months, something like that.
Right, right.
So she left just before December to come back in time for Carnival, but then you know this whole thing happened, and but she got a little delayed, and by the time she was ready to come, this whole thing happened. So
Yes.
she never was able to come back.
Well, the unfortunate thing, the most recent exhibition I participated in Trinidad was at the Rotunda Gallery. It's a brand new
Yes,
gallery
yes.
at the refurbished
At the Parliament,
Parliament building.
refurbished Parliament building.
Yes. And I'll tell you all this story with great excitement. Now, Jill alerts me when there's a call for artists in Trinidad. That's something that I could participate in. She'd say, send me the flyer by email, and I'd say, oh, okay, yeah, let me try. So when they opened the Rotunda, which was it's a grand space. And I was thinking, how could I ever get a piece of art in that grand space? And then Jill sent me the flyer, and I said, well, I'll send in the application. I don't expect to be selected. I didn't really expect to be selected. And it was for the International Women's Day exhibition in March. So I sent in the application, and lo and behold, they sent me a notice. I think it was the Tuesday, and they said, Arch, your piece, Creole Woman, has been accepted for the exhibition. Get it to us between Wednesday and Friday. And the notice came, I think it was in Monday or something. So I had no idea how I was going to get this painting from Toronto down to Trinidad.
And she was not in Toronto. She was not in Toronto
I
at the
wasn't
time.
in Toronto. I had a contract with a company all the way out in Calgary, Alberta. Okay. So it was drama because I didn't want to miss the opportunity. So I called my daughter. If I buy a ticket for you tonight, for tomorrow morning, early, first flight, will you go and take the painting for me? And she did. It was in a box, so we had to get it framed. Sometimes framing takes forever.
Right.
Okay, you take a painting or anything. Ian, you would know if you take a photograph and you want it properly framed. They may not do it for a week or two or whatever. But anyway, this 101 Art Gallery, they do framing in Port of Spain. So I sent them a message. I said, please say yes. That's how I started the email. Please say yes. I want to get this framed because I have to get it for the latest Friday morning at the Rotunda Gallery. I was accepted for this exhibition. So anyway, everything fell into place. Tiffany arrived on time. We got it framed on time, just the Friday morning to be delivered Friday afternoon. I was at the exhibition. The grand opening was
Sunday. Was this Sunday?
Yes. Yeah. So my daughter was there to represent me, and then flew back to Toronto Monday. And then they had the lockdown. What day? Because Jill, you went to see the exhibition.
I went to see it I went to see it on the Tuesday. Yes. And the lockdown was the Thursday.
Right. So all the paintings are still there in the Parliament building. Oh, that's good. Nobody can see them except maybe, I don't know if the parliamentary officials passed through the rotunda or not.
Well, they actually had a sitting. Yeah, today's what, Saturday? So yesterday there was a sitting. So, but they don't necessarily have to pass from that entrance. They can.
Okay.
But they have their own entrance to pass. So they really, at this point in time, I don't think anybody is seeing it.
Leslie. Hello.
Hello. Hi.
Hi, everybody. This is Leslie. Are you hearing me? You hearing me? Hello. Leslie is calling us from Montreal. Are you hearing me? Hello.
No, I'm not hearing anything.
Hello. She had to figure out where the audio is. So I met Leslie. She's a writer and artist, and I think doing other things too. So I met her in Ottawa at a book fair. She was selling her books when I was selling my books, and kept in touch ever since. That was about 3 years ago, I guess.
Nice.
I'm telling her story since she can't since we can't hear her. Leslie, are you hearing me? She's from Nova Scotia originally, Leslie Carvery, and that Carvery name is very famous in Halifax. You know, when they had, in Halifax, they had a huge settlement of people of African descent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So her father, her family, the Carverys, are quite prominent in civil rights and all that for Black Canadians in Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Okay.
Leslie, are you hearing me?
Not yet, I think.
She can't, I guess she can't hear. So she wrote a book. It's a fiction, but kind of like a historical fiction based on her father's life growing up in Halifax. Hello. I don't know if she's seeing or hearing or anything. But anyway, she does.
Are you seeing her?
Well, I'm seeing her, but I don't know if she's seeing us.
You can write. You can do a chat like you can. hit on the chat and write, can you see us?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can.
Oh, here, yes. Let me see.
Because she might see that because we can't hear you.
Yeah.
On chat.
You seeing us or hearing us? Hello. It looks frozen now. Her screen looks frozen. Well, maybe she can.
She needs to go back out and then come.
Okay, she said
back
she
in.
can. I see, cannot hear. Oh, okay.
Well, then she's maybe hasn't turned on her audio then.
Turn on audio. Or maybe she could sign out and come back in.
Yeah, I
could
think
do
she
that
could do that.
before too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll let her do that. Turn on audio, sign out, and come back in. She should sign out and come back in. So Leslie does all different kinds of art projects. I have to talk for her since she can't talk. I think
Well,
the
when she
most
gets up,
recent
she'll
one,
talk, maybe.
I saw her doing a mural somewhere. And then she would do tiles and cups and all different things, you know, with kind of like
Is it
paintings of herself.
Africville? Is
Connected
it
to
Africville?
audio. Eh?
Africville?
Yeah, Africville. She wrote a book about Africville. Hello, you're hearing us now?
Okay.
Say something.
I thought I heard something a little.
Leslie?
Nope, I guess not.
Well, yeah, Africville was what the word I was trying to remember, the name of the place. Yes.
Right.
So she wrote a book, My Home in Africville. And since that time, I think that was 3 or 4 years ago, she wrote another one. So, fiction. Oh, well, hopefully she's signing out and signing back in. But
yeah.
Now, the last time we spoke, Nicole had an idea of doing the Don't Rush challenge, but then she didn't do it. I was the only one who did it. And everybody else chickened out. But that's okay. I like to do crazy things. That's me.
Yes, she does. I can vouch for that. I can vouch for that.
And I asked Ian, and Ian said, no, he's not in that. Charmaine said no. So I was the only one. But
only Caravana Day you'll see me doing that.
Huh?
What?
Only Caravana Day you'll see me doing that.
Oh, please. I could do that stuff all year round. I don't mind. And I put it on my YouTube channel. Not that I have many viewers on my YouTube, but you know, every little bit helps. And it's fun with the art too, you know, it can't be all serious all the time.
Right.
You have to have a few laughs, you know.
Yeah.
I even I have LinkedIn for my science work, and then I have an art and writers LinkedIn. So 2 separate ones.
Okay.
And I find on LinkedIn, people are really serious talking about the issues and blah, 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 blah. So then I posted my crazy video and I said, let us have a minute of fun today.
What was the response?
Oh, quite a few people liked it. And you know, on LinkedIn, you could see how many have viewed the video or the posting. So I know quite a few people saw it. I don't know what they thought about it. They probably thought I was nuts, but that's okay. I don't mind.
Jenny?
Yes?
Was it last week that you all talked about a video, right? Did anybody else send their videos in?
Nobody. And those who I spoke to last time, they are not participating today. So what can we do? They didn't tell me they're not coming. They didn't say a word. So what can we do? It's a casual chat.
Because it's something that we probably should really follow up on and try to do.
Yes, I'll send out another email. We had discussed putting together a video with various artists' work and posting it up on YouTube and Instagram, different social media channels, so
Okay.
that people
Like a
can see
gallery
our
sort
work.
of thing?
Yes.
Yeah, like a gallery.
Yeah,
Yes.
video gallery.
And actually, a lot of artists are doing that. I've come
Yes,
across
I'm
a number of videos.
participating.
Mm-hmm.
And I belong to Artist Network in Toronto. And so for Mother's Day, we had still shots up online, like tiles. And when you click on each tile, you see the artist's name, and then it goes to the shop. So Artist Network, they have their platform for sales, and they take a commission on each sale. But what I was thinking
Right,
of is, creating a video, and then you have people's website information. So it will bring people to your website where, if they see something they like, they could ask you, can I buy this piece or something? So, like chunks of work by this artist, then work by the next artist, and then you have credits at the beginning and at the end.
Mm-hmm.
That's the idea that I had. So Leslie, are you hearing us now? Yes? I guess not.
No, because a message just came from the messenger chat, and she said, "Oh dear." So I think it is that she's not getting through.
Oh boy. Well,
I don't know if it's a response to what you sent her, but she said, "Oh dear." That just flashed on my phone.
oh,
Because I'm
okay.
actually looking at you on my phone.
Right. Well, that's too bad because she wanted to participate. Well, I will call her on the regular phone.
Yeah, that would be good. Also, too, I always have to turn on my headphones sometimes don't work well, and I have to turn it on. I don't know.
Oh, so maybe she
Maybe
didn't have it on. But yeah, so
But actually, in Trinidad right now, she says, "I can't hear anyone." That's what's coming up from Messenger. She said, "I can't hear anyone."
Okay, I can.
Okay, did she?
I'm hearing you now.
Somebody.
I'm hearing you now, finally.
Sorry, I'm late.
Yes, I was telling your story for you because you couldn't tell it for yourself. But anyway, maybe you could introduce yourself. I'll show you. We have Ian, originally from Grenada. He's a photographer. Charmaine, Lurch. Charmaine, do you have Caribbean heritage or no? I don't know.
I do. Jamaican. I was born in Jamaica.
Okay. So Charmaine, the Toronto artist. Are you in Toronto or outside of Toronto?
Toronto, pretty well.
Yes,
So I
GTA.
show outside, but yeah, I'm
Yes.
from Toronto. Yeah.
And then Jill is calling us from Trinidad. Jill is an art enthusiast, collector, and artsy person. All right, so Leslie, tell us a little bit about yourself. I started telling them that one of the famous carveries from Halifax. Oh, your family.
Okay, that's as far as you got? Okay.
Before you do that, Jenny, is there a way you can do a split screen so we can see everybody?
You have to do it on your own. You
it.
have to do it on your own device.
Yes, go up to the top. Go up to the top right corner and click. And everybody say cheese. I'm going to take a picture.
Please.
Everybody, no, Ian, move your finger. No.
I'm trying to find the top right where I can get everything.
2 seconds. Let's.
He didn't do it for me.
Good.
Uh-oh.
It ain't working.
All I'm seeing is Ian just say cheese for 2 seconds. All right, we have a nice picture. Good.
I want curry and roti, man.
What?
I want roti. I want cheese.
I just had a roti. I just got finished eating a roti. That's so
Well,
funny.
I made curry today. I made aloo and chana, tomato choka, baigan choka, which is eggplant. I made curry cabbage, and what else? There was one other thing, a vegetable mix there. And I also bought the dal puri to go with it. So a big curry feast for today and tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm not cooking. It's Mother's Day.
Well, of course, it's Mother's Day.
So I'm not
Nice.
cooking. I'll just, in fact, I have food for like 4 days. I usually cook for many days and freeze. Anyway, so Leslie, tell us a little bit about you and what art you do.
Okay, from Nova Scotia. I live in Montreal right now. I am a dancer first. Did a professional dancing for a long time in Nova Scotia. I had a dance studio. And now I'm a writer and photographer and painter.
Very
Mm.
good. So I was telling them about your book about Africville.
That's
That
my
your
father's
first-
story.
Huh?
That's my father's story. The story of how my father grew up in Africville. Well, I mean, it's a fiction story, but
Yes.
gives you an idea.
Right, right. So that cup, show them the cup. Yes, she does a lot of those
Okay,
cups and
okay.
tiles and all that. So it's kind of like a self-portrait, isn't it? A bit.
That's what everybody says.
Yes.
But, yeah, so this is what that's what I'm working on now.
Oh, that's
Oh,
lovely.
lovely. I like that. I like that.
Beautiful.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you
What
cook
part-
that
What
one?
part of Montreal are you from?
I'm living in the NDG, which
Oh, I have an aunt that lives in NDG actually.
it's a nice area. It's a
I
nice
love
area.
it. I
I
love
lived
it.
there when I was a student the first year, and then I moved downtown. Right, I was at McGill, so then I moved right
Oh.
into Lawn Avenue, what they call the student ghetto. You know, like right next to the university, or in the heart of
Right.
town.
Heart of town. Yeah, the heart of
Yes.
town.
So one person here is actually in Trinidad, and the rest are Toronto.
Yes,
Yeah.
Jill.
Yeah, I'm in Trinidad. Yeah.
Oh, you're in Trinidad. Oh, okay,
I
nice.
am in Trinidad. I was actually born in Canada, but my parents are Trinidadian, so I lived in Trinidad. I lived in Canada until I was about 7, and then left with my family, and then came up for university, lived about 22 years, and then when my mom became ill, I moved back to Trinidad.
Right. Okay. Makes sense.
Oh, I didn't know you
And I'm
were
still here.
so many years in Toronto.
Yeah, 22 years. Yeah.
Wow.
That's how Andre ended up being born in Trinidad.
Right.
I mean, sorry, being born in Toronto. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I was living here then.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So it was it's actually more 23 years, just like on the cusp of 23
Yes.
that I was here. And then I actually came down not planning to stay, but because of my mother's health and its deterioration, I ended up staying, and she wasn't expected to live. And then she ended up living for 17 years. Every day
Wow.
she was supposed to die, the doctors say, no, it's not looking good. And she lived for
Uh-huh.
17 years. So
Wow.
I stayed. She's now gone on, but at this point in time, I now have a dad, so I can't up and leave him. So I'm still here.
Yeah. So, Leslie, would you be interested in, or do you have many paintings? I think you did a mural recently.
I did my wall.
Oh, your wall. Okay.
Yeah, it's behind the TV. Let me see.
Oh, that's
Wow.
interesting. Look at that.
Ooh.
That's pretty.